Hello there, and welcome to the Outside Film Podcast, where we talk film, TV, games, and all that jazz like there's no tomorrow. My name is Tom, and as always, I'm joined with my co-host John.
G'day, it's me. Yes, I'm here with my co-host Tom. Inception. Anyway,
Well, I was thinking to say someone else then, and I was like, who's he here with? Has he brought another guest?
who's that Pokemon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I say, how are you this week?
Yeah, just a bit tired, but I just felt like I've just
It's
been working
revision
all week.
season, folks. We're revising
Yeah,
in
revisions.
college.
Yeah, it sucks, but it's kind of a bit stressful right now because you just gotta get everything organized. Well, anyway, try not to get stressed, but
Yeah,
trying to keep calm.
we got Star Wars stuff to talk about. So obviously this week
Yeah,
we're
we
talking about
do. We
the
do. Yeah.
first two episodes of the Bad Batch, as well as a few news. We got some Flash news, we got some Stranger Things news, we got some MCU news, and obviously weekly viewing segment as always. So bounce around, bounce around in the time codes.
Timeline.
I found the word that I was looking for. Time codes
Oh,
in the
you,
description, and then you can just go
yeah,
straight
go
into it.
ahead. Go ahead, just bounce around and see what's
Please
new.
do.
Yes.
What is new? Well,
We had Star Wars Day on
did.
Tuesday.
Oh boy.
boy.
I cannot wait to talk about the Bad Batch. I am so
Yeah,
excited.
Bad Batch was really. Oh,
No, go on, please.
yeah, Star Wars Day. That was a good day. But I didn't do anything Star Wars related.
I didn't even wear a Star Wars t-shirt. I was so disappointed with myself.
Man. Yeah.
I just
But
forgot.
there was
I
no
just
one.
forgot.
Okay, this was disappointing. No one in college said to me, "Happy Star Wars Day" or something
Did I
like
not?
that.
Did I not say it? I did. I said it. I was the.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You
In the
did.
morning, I literally
Yes, you
said,
did.
"May the fourth be with you." It's good stuff.
And
it's good stuff.
yeah, good stuff as well. Yeah.
Well, let's go straight into the news, and we have a whole lot of MCU news. So it feels like so long ago that the Marvel released a video. It was called like Marvel the Movies or something. And in this, they announced a lot of stuff. So first of all, we have got release dates for Ant-Man Quantumania and Guardians of the Galaxy 3, both coming in 2023, as well as a title for Black Panther, which is now called Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and Captain Marvel 2, which is now called The Marvel, and The Marvels.
The Marvels.
And
don't forget
our
that.
first footage for the Eternals, or just Eternals. What are we thinking about? What are your thoughts about all this?
Wow, there's a lot to unpack. But first of all, I wanted to go straight ahead into Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Oh, that sounds. First of all, when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, it's going to be emotional.
It will be, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And then the Marvels. That's interesting because we're going to see more Marvel people.
Well, I mean, first of all, I agree. I think Wakanda Forever is a wonderful title, and I think that film is going to hit so very hard. It's going to be difficult to get through. But yeah, so the Marvels. So we know obviously that this film is going to include Miss Marvel and Monica Rambeau, who we last saw in WandaVision. And I'm kind of I like the idea of Captain Marvel teaming up with a team. I think that what she needs is someone to kind of knock her down a little bit. She's very much kind of a character who is this one woman force. She does everything herself. She doesn't need help. And I feel like what she needs is to be humanized a little bit, give it the Thor treatment where she's knocked down a couple of pegs. Maybe she encounters an enemy who can take away her powers or something, and she has to kind of face up to the fact that she hasn't recognized what it is to be human. In WandaVision, we kind of, Monica kind of talks a little, kind of alludes to the fact that Carol's done something. She kind of left her mum and her behind. So I wonder, will she kind of face up for her sins?
That's interesting. Wait, a while back, there was some like set photos of Marvels, and we can see like Miss Marvel somewhere in the set.
That was from the Miss Marvel show.
Oh,
yeah. What did you? Up. Yeah, that's a good. What did you think of the suit?
Yeah, that looks very comic accurate.
I agree.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah. It looks really cool.
I'm thinking of like, when Mark Ruffalo introduced someone by tweeting. Was that the same thing?
That was She-Hulk.
Oh right.
Yeah, okay. He introduced She-Hulk, and then like she denied it, and then they announced it. It was very weird.
That's very weird.
It was quite strange.
But anyway, yeah, it's comic accurate. I like that because Marvel has been doing really good comic accurate.
I mean,
yeah,
actually,
especially
Falcon
and Winter Soldier. Yeah, especially Falcon and Winter Soldier. That suit, oof.
Yeah,
oof,
the Captain America is wonderful. Actually, next week we're going to be doing our episode. Next week is going to be on best of, I guess, favorite live action comic book costumes. So we're going to be talking about our favorite costumes from comic book films and TV in live action, of course. Otherwise, it would all be Spider-Verse. Yeah, you better be getting a top 5 list ready.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to do that. So
Eternals footage. What do you think of the Eternals footage?
Okay, we didn't really see a lot, but I want to say the cinematography is great because it just feels a bit more grounded, a bit more.
Yeah, there was a report that Chloe Zhao really wanted to have real sets, and she went location scouting, and she shot some stuff, and she took it back to Kevin Feige and the people at Marvel, who were blown away by the fact that it's not CGI. So, and I can see immediately this is exactly that. It's real sets. It's real people. It looks wonderful. It looks so cool. As you were saying, cinematography is wild.
Yeah, the cinematography is just like it fits into, because with Marvel it kind of oversaturates everything because there's lots of CGI, and it doesn't really makes it a bit more grounded to everything. You don't really get focused into the story or with the characters as much because there's so many explosions going on. But with this, with Eternals, it looks pretty good because I'm pretty excited to have like something Marvel to do really good cinematography, especially Chloe Zhao has won Best Director at the Oscars, so
she has.
I
think that's great. I think it's a shame that directors have to fight to get real stuff. I know that it's probably more efficient to shoot it all on the soundstage of CGI, but I'd love to see Marvel going for the more practical route more often.
Yeah,
I think that'd be great.
I wish they do that. Yeah, I wish they do that, but CGI. So pretty looking forward to that. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Me too. So we actually have a little bit of sad news now. So the Flash TV show, it has been announced.
Oh yeah.
That 2 of the most prevalent cast members since season 1. So Carlos Valdez, who has played Cisco Ramon and various other multiversal versions of Cisco, and Tom Cavanagh, who has played thousands of Harrison Wells throughout the multiverse, are both leaving the show as series regulars for good. Whether or not they will show up in the future, the showrunner Eric Wallace has said that is a possibility. Now, I know that you've seen the first 4 seasons of The Flash.
Yes, and I love it.
Apart
from season 4.
Season 4 wasn't great. But I'm caught up. I agree with you. It's great. Season 4 isn't great. Season 5 is a little bit worse, actually, in my opinion.
Oh God, really?
But season 6 is a gift. It's wonderful. Season 6 is great.
Oh, okay.
And season 7's all right so far. So but yeah, what do you think about these cast members leaving? Do you think that obviously season 8 has been announced? Do you think that they should keep on going without these really 2 big forces?
Well, I think they should end it with season 8 with a fitting ending, because that's how I think that works. But you can't really go on with the show with 2 most lovable characters. I mean, you got Harrison Wells and you got Cisco, and they just steal the show. Really,
they do. They have such a wonderful chemistry with each other, and they both, especially Harrison Wells. Every single different Wells is so funny and so emotional. They really bring some really
it kind of makes me gets me thinking. Why did they decide it together? They're gonna leave, or they're just gonna
That's a good question. I don't know. I think there's been rumors that Carlos has wanted to leave for a while now. Obviously, I think he's had a lot of interesting stuff happening with he's gone from Cisco to Vibe and all these different, like, you know, he was Reverb, Earth 2 Vibe, you know, like loads of different kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously Tom has done like however many wells it's been at this point, so many.
Yeah.
I think there's loads of stuff interesting there.
Yeah. I hope they get to be on a lot more stuff because they're great. They're great. Yeah. So
yeah, I totally agree. And I agree that I think I'm ready for it to end. Obviously, Supergirl and Black Lightning are ending this year, and I'm ready for it all to end. I really am. You know, I would love the Flash to end with that night. You know, I love the Flash to end.
With that would be great. That would be great.
And the Reverse Flash going back in time. The Flash has to save his younger self as Reverse Flash kills his mum, and you know. You know, they can do like in the comics where the Flash becomes the bolt of lightning that strikes him. I think that would be great. You know, go full circle. Like that's what I want.
Oh, that would be really interesting. Wait, in the comics, didn't he what you said about like turning into a lightning bolt, right? Was it in?
Yeah, it's Crisis.
Crisis, yes,
Crisis
I remember.
Earth, he runs so fast that he like disintegrates, and then for like 10 years, Wally West was the Flash. And Barry Allen, they retconned it, so Barry Allen became the lightning bolt that struck himself. So it's like a really nice kind of.
Oh, that is weird because it's just like a massive. Yeah, that's weird, man.
I think that'd be great. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
And whether or not Wally would kind of step up, but I think they have obviously they've already done Crisis on Infinite Earths, but they could do like Final Crisis or Identity Crisis or any of the crises from DC.
Yeah, I think they can. I think they probably can do these Dark Knight Metal, but the thing is that needs to be the New 52 one needs to be established before they can do Dark Knight, because the New 52 one, the Batman one, that really leads up to Metal. So
obviously they're doing Batwoman at the moment, and they have a Bruce Wayne cast for that show. So it would be interesting to see, you know, whether they want to do something with him, because obviously they did Superman and Supergirl, and now they've got Superman and Lois. So maybe they'll do a Batman show somewhere down the line. I think that'd be cool. And then I guess there'd be opportunities to do the Court of Owls and such. But I mean, to be fair, Gotham already did the Court of Owls really, really well. So
they did. Yeah, they did.
I don't need another one.
Yeah, we need like a different interpretation. So yeah, I'm up for that. Yeah,
definitely. So our final piece of news is actually so we've never actually spoken about Stranger Things before.
Stranger Things. Pod. Yeah.
We got our first teaser, or one of it. I think our second teaser maybe for season 4. With the Papa, I don't know his name.
Papa,
Doctor something, and he's like Papa.
Dr. Brenner.
Yeah, that's right. So Dr. Brenner, and he's talking to loads of other different kind of subjects, and obviously it zooms in on 11, and it's all kind of creepy. Obviously, we've both seen seasons 1 to 3 of Stranger Things.
Yeah, we have.
Season 3 definitely ended on a definitive note. What do you think about season 4? What do you think about seasons 1 to 3?
Okay.
What are your opinions?
So I don't know where they're going to go from this. With like the whole Papa. But a lot of speculation. That what people have been saying is what people have been speculating is that there's going to be time travel involved with the show, with season 4.
Interesting.
So that's interesting, because there was one guy, I forgot his name, but when 11 raided this house, who worked for that in season 3, that pointless episode that we all don't like.
Oh yeah, in season 2. Oh god, I remember that one.
Oh so god, oh, that was so boring. That didn't really add anything to the story. It was just like
not at all.
It was just like
this weird kind of spirit quest that felt like set up.
Yeah.
For stuff,
it felt like a side quest, but
it really did.
Not really a side quest. But when 11 raids someone's house, I think, and then he says like, he's alive, and it's like, who? Dr. Brenner, and then she's like, Papa.
Well, yes. Obviously, at the end of season 3, spoilers by the way. But at the end of season 3, there was this whole kind of Russian like facility, and they have an American in custody, and it has since been revealed that it was, of course, Chief Hopper. But I was hoping it would be Brenner. I thought that would be so interesting.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
They really, really went hard with the emotions when Hopper died. I thought it was great. It was, you know, they did his whole kind of like his letter to Eleven. They left. It was all very tied in a bow. I think they shouldn't bring. Obviously, they're bringing him back. What can I do? But I wouldn't think that they should have. You know, I'm one of the people who thinks that Stranger Things shouldn't have gone on past season one. In fact, I think they should have stopped it there. But they are doing more, and I would have loved to see them commit to Hopper's death.
Yeah. I really hope for season 4 they're going to add a lot more monsters, because season 3 it felt like that one was a big monster to have. You know what I mean? Like, wish they had that. You know, like in season 2, like with all the Demodogs. Yeah,
Demodogs. Well, they definitely have an issue with raising the stakes. You know, their idea of raising the stakes is making a bigger monster each time, and I feel like what they need to do is raise the emotional stakes more than the, you know, physical stakes. I feel like there could be a lot of power in that. I think a lot of the fact of the first season is that it's, you know, it's simple. It's just one monster. It's an ongoing mystery. And obviously now the universe has expanded so much that
the universe, the Stranger Things universe,
the Stranger Things verse. Well, originally, Stranger Things was going to be an anthology series. So every season, every season would have been called, obviously, would have still been called Stranger Things, but it would be telling a different story about different characters, nothing to do with the Upside Down, nothing to do with Demogorgons. It would have just been like
really interesting.
Yeah, like the Twilight Zone or something, or like Black Mirror. Everything's different, and you know, they're just telling different stories. But then after season 1, it became such a cultural icon, such a cultural hit.
Yeah,
everyone went mad.
It really did. Yeah, I can't blame it. So yeah,
right.
It's a really good show. It is a really good show. If you haven't watched it,
I do feel like the appeal is a little bit kind of wearing off for me. I think I will watch season 4, especially after talking about it here. You know, I remember all the good things about season 1 to 3.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I do feel a little bit like I would have liked it to end by now, you know? And obviously they're going to go for a while. It was originally going to be just 4 seasons, but then now they're going further than that. So I don't.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah. So I hope they don't kind of drag it on too long. But I feel like that might be what was happening, because I feel like they could have ended it in seasons 2 or 3, you know, or even 1. I would have loved it if it ended in season 1. That'd have been great. But there we go. I mean, to be fair, if it ended in season 1, we would never have got Steve in his prime.
Steve in his prime.
Steve's character development is just amazing.
Oh, it is one of the best character developments I've seen in the TV
cinema.
Show.
I mean, it's not cinema, but it's also cinema.
It's TV cinema.
TV cinema.
TV cinema. Scorsese would love that.
Speaking of TV cinema, let's talk about The Bad Batch, shall we?
Oh, The Bad Batch, baby!
Oh yeah. So, The Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch.
First of all, I just want to say we're going to be talking about episode 1 and then episode 2. Well, time codes in the description if you really want to hear us talk about episode 2.
Yes.
Or whatever. So if you've listened to the pod before, you will know that I have seen all of Star Wars. Like,
he has,
you know,
all
of the all of the on-screen media, I guess. Love it. Love most of it, but I really, really love the Clone Wars.
Love most
John,
of it.
How much have you seen of the Clone Wars? Because obviously I know
right. So today, I really wanted to watch The Bad Batch, so I probably got up to I can't remember season 3 or 4.
Okay.
But I do recognize the characters from the Clone Wars. So
so you've got a good grasp of what's going on.
You kind of
Episode 1. What are your
episode 1? What an episode!
What an episode!
Can I just say,
thoughts?
I just love the characters, the voice acting for each character in the Bad Batch
so
group.
Good.
Yeah. The guy, who voiced it? Sorry, I forgot his name.
D. Bradley Baker.
You did really well, man.
He continues to impress. You know, every single clone, distinct. You know, distinct personalities. Absolutely wonderful. I think immediately, the cast are doing such a good job.
Yeah. So let's name all the Bad Batch characters because we don't want to lose sight of every character. So we got Wrecker, we got Crosshair, we got
Hunter,
Echo,
Hunter and Tech.
Hunter and Tech. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot that is.
So obviously now you wouldn't have got here in the Clone Wars yet, but Echo's story.
Yes, I've seen Echo earlier, so yeah.
Right, so Echo's got a lot of his whole kind of journey from like being like a reg to becoming like a prominent member of the 501st to then becoming a member of the Bad Batch. That is a big kind of thing.
Yeah, and he did explain that Tarkin helped. Well, I don't know about explaining about how he's got this this device on his head
right
because of Tarkin.
Basically,
was it Tarkin?
It was Tarkin. Yeah.
Right.
Do you want me to explain it to you, or do you want to watch it yourself?
Okay. I bet there's like a revenge story for that. I don't know. Like
right. Okay. Tarkin. So basically, Echo went on a mission with Rex and Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, etc. To go and like save Tarkin from this prison called the Citadel. And in doing so, Wrecker? No, Wrecker's fine. He's not in it until season 7. Echo died, unfortunately. Quotation marks on the died. And then season 7 sees him. They discover that he's being used. He's being plugged into the into a facility on Skako Minor. And he's been used by separatists to decipher Republic battle strategies. And so like the Bad Batch help save him, and then he ends up going with them because obviously he's become this kind of cyborg creature, which is why he's no longer a reg. Now, what I think is really interesting about Echo's role in the Bad Batch is there is this moment. Obviously, you talk about Tarkin. He has this kind of like, he's scared of Tarkin, right? And there is this moment where he wakes up after being kind of knocked unconscious, and he sees that he's being plugged in, to the facilities, and he really freaks out, right?
Yeah.
He has this PTSD, which I think is really interesting to explore because, he has this kind of tragic backstory. Unlike the others, he carries so much more weight with him. He's seen so much like, pain and loss, through all of his brothers and through himself. Yeah. So like I think Echo's story is a really interesting one to kind of like watch through the thing. I mean, like, but I think the others, there's still a lot to do. So like what do you think of the others so far?
The others they're great. Wrecker's just like just like a
I love how Wrecker is so chaotic, but he's also like he's a lovable like teddy bear,
Oh, he has a teddy bear. Oh yeah.
He does. He has a little Lula as well. Yeah, of course. He really has that kind of like softy kind of nature about him, and I like that. I think I'm really interested to see where these characters are going to go. As of episode 1, they are very much kind of, they're still, those kind of stereotypes.
Yeah. Like they're clones, but they're the defect ones, and it's really interesting because what I didn't know, but here's the confusing thing. I thought the Bad Batch was after when the second Death Star explodes, like just after.
Really?
Yeah, because the description just said that like, oh, they're in this new era right now. I was like, oh, which one then? But then when I realized, but this was back in the prequels. Okay. Yeah.
And what I loved. Yeah, no, go on.
I'll let you talk about the thing. So, so like, they're helping the general, and then when the clone just walks away and talks to something, I was like, wait a minute. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Wait, this And then he just goes,
execute order 66.
I was like, oh, this is what we're seeing. This is what we're seeing.
Now, obviously, the Clone Wars goes into so much background about Order 66.
It does.
And the chips inside the clones' heads, which force them to execute Order 66. As you see with Crosshair, you know, he's kind of like fighting against it, but then he has this kind of moment where like the Empire amplify it, so he is this kind of merciless killer, which I think it's pretty terrifying seeing how everyone goes from all the clones on Kamino. They go from just being, you know, clones with loads of individuality. They paint their own armor. They have like tattoos and stuff. And then they are, you know, they all walk differently. But then in the Bad Batch, you know, they all walk the same. They have no kind of sense of personality. They have become the faceless kind of monsters because of Order 66. What I loved... Go on.
I think I'm going to say the same about you, about like Order 66. Like everything changed dramatically with like the Bad Batch like experiencing like a lot of change, and it's very weird because we didn't really see that transition with the clones, like how it really affects with other people or with the other planets in the system. But what I like seeing is that there's like clones inside, but then they realize that they're on the wrong side, and it's really cool. I really like that idea. So
having the Bad Batch not have chips, showing them, you know, react to Order 66, showing them react to, you know, Palpatine's announcement that the Republic will be organized into the first galactic empire. And like just seeing all of that, I'm so sorry. I'm seeing all of that. Like,
that was so loud, man. Carry on.
Rest in peace, headphone users.
Rest in peace. And then you just see people just going, yeah.
Well, yeah, like everyone is, you know, everyone's reacting like, oh yeah, Empire good. And the Bad Batch are like, what are you
talking about?
This is
we're here.
Like, immediately you see that Palpatine has got this huge plan. He's like, okay, so first of all, we're going to execute Order 66. Next, we're going to keep, you know, all the Jedi will be dead, and we'll make an empire, and then we're going to, you know, immediately start to get rid of the clones. Like literally, like the day, like 2 days later, Tarkin's not even 2 days, maybe even a day later after Order 66. Tarkin's on Kamino. He's ready. He's, you know, he's evaluating the clones. He's looking and he's seeing, you know.
He's not waiting. He is just going straight ahead and get all the clones.
Yeah, he's just straight being like, oh yes, we have to get rid of them all.
Yes.
It really is the transition from the Clone Wars into, you know, the age of the Empire. What I loved is that the episode starts with the Clone Wars, and then the Clone Wars burns away, and you see the Bad Batch, the logo, wonderful stuff, and then you get the Clone Wars narration for the final time. You know, the guy being like, "There's war in the galaxy."
Oh, the narration guy. Oh man.
Yeah, like that was really great to see for that one last time. And something that you won't know just yet, John, but so when they were telling us about the beginning, the narrator said we follow Jedi Master Depa Billaba, right? Who is the female Jedi who in Order 66. And I immediately said, oh my god, does that mean Depa her Padawan is Caleb Doom, who is one of the main characters in Star Wars Rebels. So the kid, the Padawan from Order 66 at the beginning of the Bad Batch, is one of the main characters from Star Wars Rebels. And that was so good to see. I was so obviously I was so torn. I was so happy, but then I was so sad. So you know how the kid sounded like an adult? It was so weird.
Yeah. With the other characters as well.
That's because he was played by the same guy from Rebels.
Oh.
So basically he goes, he escapes Order 66, changes his name to Kanan Jarrus, and then Kanan is one of the main characters in Rebels. I just love seeing Dave Filoni, you know, taking all his
which one again?
It.
Which one again? I forgot the character in Rebels. Which one?
Kanan. You know, the older Jedi who's in hiding.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, if you watch the show, you'll see he's amazing. One of my favorite Jedi in general. He's up there, definitely.
I have watched Rebels sometimes with Disney XD, like back in the day.
Yeah. Oh right, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I watched Clone Wars as well in Cartoon Network, but strangely, I don't know why, but like Clone Wars was on Cartoon Network, and then
it was go
on. Like that's weird because I was like, wait a minute, but that's on a different thing as well because I was watching Clone Wars and Rebels. Rebels just came out.
Well, they made Clone Wars on Cartoon Network, first 5 seasons, and then Disney bought Lucasfilm, and Disney can't work with Cartoon Network for whatever reason. So the Clone Wars was cancelled. Worst day of everyone's life. And then they released season 6 of the Clone Wars, The Lost Missions, on Netflix. So that was all the finished stuff so far. And then they went on to do Rebels and Resistance on Disney XD. So, and obviously Dave Filoni took the opportunity to continue the stories of Ahsoka and Maul and Rex, characters from the Clone Wars. And then obviously now with Disney Plus, they don't have to have Cartoon Network anymore, so they could make Clone Wars season 7 and the Bad Batch. So that's why it was on Disney XD and not Cartoon Network.
So that was kind of confusing me back then. I was like, wait a minute, but wait. So
it makes no sense.
It makes no sense, but it compels me. So yeah, that's a reference right there.
I love it.
And
there is actually a lot of controversy over the opening of the Bad Batch because
really?
The story of Kanan in Order 66 has already been told in one of the comics, and they changed the story from the comic. So some people are really like upset that they changed the story. You right?
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry. Right, I can hear you. I don't know what just happened.
What? I don't know what just happened either.
Did you hear that?
No, what was it?
He was like, my microphone decided to just
explode.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, this is the glory of recording virtually, folks.
Yeah, I think my microphone is not really that powerful for my phone.
Oh no. You're gonna have to figure that one out. But yeah, so there's a lot of controversy about the opening of the Bad Batch because it rewrites this kind of story that was actually supposed to be like really good. And they kind of changed the canon a little bit.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So obviously like Crosshair, because Crosshair has this kind of whole arc where he is transitioning, he more so than the others, he's kind of becoming a servant of the Empire. What did you kind of think of him and his character?
Well, he was a bit like a character that you were concerned for because he is a very loyal person in the Bad Batch as well. But there was some trouble boiling up deep within
trouble afoot.
Yeah, a trouble afoot. On like you instantly know when like Crosshair is about to kill Caleb. So yeah, it's great character.
It was pretty brutal seeing all the stuff that Crosshair went through. At the end when he kind of walks through as like this kind of new version, it was pretty terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. Like seeing how much the clones have lost their individuality and become these mindless kind of servants is a pretty daunting prospect,
Yeah.
Definitely. So obviously there was also this kind of whole action scene where the Bad Batch are tested to see kind of like whether their defects are cool. And you've seen the episode in the Clone Wars, Clone Cadets.
Yes.
They are redoing the task from that episode. What do you think about them kind of like going back and doing that?
Yeah, I felt like, this is really good because I've just references back like to wasn't it called the Domino Squad? No, there was one group of the Dominus Squad, right?
Dominus Squad. So that was like Echo and Fives, their original kind of like team when they were training. One of my favorite episodes actually with them on Kamino, like, you know, doing like trying to get to that, like complete the Citadel challenge.
Yeah, I've seen that, and that was a really good episode. Yeah, that was like a really good idea to, you know, bring back the Bad Batch, because they are unstoppable group. So
yeah, but I really enjoyed like looking at their, you know, like seeing how they kind of dealt with that kind of issue.
Yeah.
Like that was loads of fun. Although I do feel like Echo's not doing much at the moment. You know, he's like the one who he's kind of blending into the background, which I think is a shame. But I'm enjoying getting to kind of know the other characters a little bit better.
Yeah,
but I think like, yeah, go on.
Sorry. I think you will get a lot more moments in the show. So
I mean, we've still got 14 episodes left, so there's a lot that they're going to kind of go through. It's going to be longer than The Mandalorian and stuff.
That is pretty long. Okay, 14 episodes.
Pretty nice.
That is pretty nice.
Yeah, so 16 in total. I think they'll all be about half an hour, but obviously they can make it however long they want. Obviously the first episode was an hour and 15 minutes long, and I loved how long it was, man.
Yeah. So that's
wonderful.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah.
What else? I want to ask about Omega. Obviously, this child who is really kind of like enamored by the Bad Batch, and, you know, kind of like looks up to them and ends up kind of going with them in the end. What did you think about her?
Well, the fact that she had an Australian accent.
Oh yeah, she's from New Zealand actually.
Oh really? Who's the voice actress?
I'm not quite sure. I remember looking her up. But yeah. So she's also.
She kind of sounded familiar. I don't know.
Right. Okay. Well, no, I just remember looking her up, and so she's from New Zealand, and she's got such a nice voice, man. Like just hearing her be like, oh, Rika, tick, like, you know, like just feel like everyone's kind of doing like those impressions of
it kind of reminds me of when Taika Waititi did for in Thor Ragnarok as Korg. Yeah.
It's a very Korg kind of thing. Like, oh, hey man, we're gonna form a revolution. You want to come? It's like, yeah, I definitely got those kind of vibes from it.
But yeah, she's wonderful. Yeah,
she is. What did you? I really like how, you know, she is this kind of opportunity for the Bad Batch to kind of grow as people, but also she looks up to them so much. There's some really nice stuff in this episode where she's copying Hunter, like he's doing stuff. Yeah, that's so cute. But she's also, you know, she's also fairly competent. You know, she kind of like gets some shots in, and she kind of knows. But I love how she has lived her whole life on Kamino, and you get in the end of the first episode, they go into hyperspace for the first time, and her and you know, her eyes when she sees hyperspace for the first time, it's wonderful. You know, like seeing from her perspective, so cool. But I think the question in everyone's mind, what do you think is the deal with her?
Well, maybe what in episode 2, Cuts says like that she's not a soldier, but she's like you, like a clone, but she is a different clone. But I don't know. She must be something different entirely. Maybe it kind of
obviously it could definitely does. You know, Cut does elaborate and kind of say that the Kaminoans, they don't clone without purpose, you know. So what is it that she has? There's speculation that she has the Force, which I think is likely, but there's also speculation that she could be the first kind of Palpatine clone, because you know, she's got that kind of Palpatine-esque hair. I mean, that's not Jango Fett's hair. That's definitely someone. Obviously, so she could be this kind of female mix between Jango Fett and Palpatine. And I think there's loads of interesting things linking into the Mandalorian, linking into episode 9, of course. But I think there's an interesting fact that, you know, the Kaminoans figure out how to clone Force sensitivity, and then the Empire have this kind of, because you already see that the Empire are just kind of writing off the Kaminoans, and so maybe there'll be this maybe the Empire will be forced to use excessive force and destroy the Kaminoans like they did with the Geonosians in Rebels. Maybe they will lose the data and then that's why they're trying to recreate the clone in the Mandalorian.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
I did not think about, like, she has this kind of the same style as Palpatine. So I did not
exactly.
I think she'll be well, the thing is with, like, I think that the character Omega, I think she will be used for higher stakes, because the Bad Batch, they already love her. So I think
everyone loves her. Yeah, definitely. I agree. So one more thing.
I caught it. No.
I love her. So one more thing before we kind of talk about episode 2. Saw Gerrera made an appearance. Now, obviously, Saw Gerrera was in the Clone Wars. He was in Jedi Fallen Order. He was in Rebels. He was in Rogue One. Saw Gerrera is the man who just kind of is in everything. So you've seen him in Rogue One, but I don't think you've seen him in anything else.
I think that's it.
Yeah, so obviously he's played by Forrest Whitaker in Rogue One.
Oh,
and yeah, that's him.
That's him. That makes sense. Yeah, with the time.
And so, like, in Clone Wars, you wouldn't have seen this. This is a season 5 episode. I didn't put it on the list for you to watch, actually. But yeah, so he was like obviously a young man, and now he's kind of like aged a little bit, and he talks about how, you know, the Republic and the Empire are all very similar, and Hunter makes a decision not to just attack, because it's not just like it's a camp of refugees. It's not like separatists, no droids and stuff. So I thought his role was really interesting, you know, seeing how he's challenging the Bad Batch. You know, he's showing them that you shouldn't just kind of join because you're part of the Republic. You can kind of be better, you know. What did you think?
I like bringing back characters and use it for better connections, but not to leave them in any way, like putting it in the bin, but then, you know.
Yeah. So what'd you give this episode out of 10 in the end?
I would give it an 8 or 6. No, 8 or 6.
8 or 6. That's, you know what? I think I'd give it a 9, purely because it had Kanan from Rebels in it, and I got so excited. I'd give it that extra point just because of how happy I was, and then how sad I was.
Okay. I'm gonna give it an 8. That's my final thing. That's my final.
I do think that at this point, some of the Bad Batch are a little bit, you know, they're not developed enough just yet. They're still kind of quite one note, and I want to see them kind of develop. But yeah, and speaking of characters like Saw Gerrera, who have been brought over, let's talk about episode 2.
Episode 2. Wait. I thought. Never mind. Sorry. But I want to say, the animation. Oof.
The animation is wonderful. You know, it's mad seeing how far the Clone Wars has come. You know, like the animation style. Like in season 1, there are some episodes that look dreadful, and I mean like really, really dreadful. And now, like, you know, it looks great.
I feel a bit more relaxed watching the Bad Batch, because it's just the animation is that's smooth, and I feel like watching the Clone Wars is like a bit, you know, like the earlier seasons. It's like it's a bit ramrod like. That's a new word for like.
Honestly, and I love the Clone Wars. You know that I love the Clone Wars, but honestly,
yes, of course you do, man. Of course you love the Clone Wars.
Of course, I mean it's of course. But like, in all honesty, I don't think season 1's that good. Like, most of season 1 is filler that I don't really feel the need to watch when I rewatch. Like, you know, there's like maybe 4 episodes that I really like, but other than that, you know, it's not. When I think of the Clone Wars, I think of seasons 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, a bit of 2. Season 1 isn't. You know, I feel like they've come such a long way, and I'm so proud of them. You know.
Yeah.
So Episode 2, Cut and Run. So, this is one. So, this is one that brings back an episode, a character from way back in the Clone Wars season 2, I believe. Have you seen the episode The Deserter?
I think so. There was so many that I watched. I was like, ah.
But, right. Okay. So, if you did, you will recognize Cut Lawquane from this episode.
I do. Yes.
So, what did you? So, Cut Lawquane's back. I think that like immediately, I got so excited just like seeing this episode and seeing that they were immediately on Saleucami. I was like, oh my god, so Cut Lawquane lives. And then like they went to Cut Lawquane, I was like, oh my god, it's Cut Lawquane. I'm so happy. So I honestly like as a Clone Wars fan, I find it difficult to kind of be critical about an episode, but also be like, oh my god, all of my dreams are coming true. So what did you think about it?
I was just pretty sure. I was like, oh, it's Cut. Yeah.
Cut. It's my guy. It's Cut. You know Cut.
Yeah.
We all know Cut. What a guy.
I was just sitting. I was like, oh, it's him. It's him. But then you were like, oh my god.
Yeah. No. Pretty much. That was my reaction. Immediately, what I really liked about this episode was the way that Cut was able to kind of teach the Bad Batch, especially Hunter, kind of like how to be a father a little bit, like show him that you like the people aren't as you said, these people aren't soldiers, they're just people, they're kids. You got to kind of be gentle with them and nice, and I really want that, and I want Cut Lawquane to hug me whenever I'm upset. I want it. I need it now.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff in this episode regarding with Omega and with Hunter as well. The relationship between them is wholesome. It's wholesome. Like
yeah, it definitely is. I really appreciate the. So obviously this show draws a lot of similarities. Immediately, we're drawing a lot of similarities to The Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mandalorian. I was thinking that as well. Yeah, particularly
Sanctuary Chapter 4, which is Mando and Grogu go to this the ponds of Saurigan. They meet Cara Dune. They have like and the end of the episode sees Mando kind of realizing to have a that there's an opportunity to have a life, and he can leave Grogu with these people and Grogu be safe there. What I thought was interesting is that a very similar thing happens this time. Hunter knows that Cut and his family can give a better life to Omega. So he gives it to him and is like, we can't do this. But what I really appreciate as something that breaks the kind of the books, the trend of similarities is that unlike Grogu, Omega can think for herself. She can make the decision to stay. Grogu can't make that choice. Unless he's calling, someone through the Force. But Omega can say, no, I don't want to go with them. I want to go with you. I chose you guys, and I want to be part of this, and I want you guys to be the ones to protect me.
Yeah, I add that. There was a lot of stuff as well. Exploring a bit more about Hunter, about things that he's sacrificing, as well for people, because especially we see this dramatic change with the people with the Empire saying, "Get these chains codes and go to
somewhere. Get your chain codes.
Get your chain codes and get to Holo." Wait, no, that's gone now.
Well, that interesting point, because in The Mandalorian, they obviously established chain codes as a big thing. If you want to fly in this sector, if you want to go to this place, chain codes. And I think it's interesting the Empire immediately, I think it's Tech that says, there's irony. It's either Tech or Echo who says there's an irony in the fact that the clones gave themselves names because they didn't want to be defined by numbers. And here they are giving other people numbers, like just putting them into categories. Again, the clones have become this mindless force that they're nothing like what they used to be. And I think there's opportunities to really dive into that. And I want to see that, because the one thing that I didn't like in this episode was the Bad Batch were just shooting clones. They were just killing clones. They were just mowing clones down without any thought about the fact that they used to be brothers, the fact that they used to have like so much like between them, and the clones used to have such individuality, and now they're kind of just like shooting them down. I would like to see them explore any kind of emotional impact that has on them.
Yeah, I feel like it was a bit empty with the characters, but
it feels very much like Finn in the sequel trilogy. Obviously he's a stormtrooper who defected, and he kind of realizes that he can do the right thing, but then he's just shooting other stormtroopers, assuming that they're not also like him, that they can't also have those kind of personalities and moments to break free.
Yeah, and I felt like it was just another a bit of an action packed, but there was emotion in this one, so
there was.
Yeah, so
I feel like the show is kind of like teasing Rex. At the end of the first episode, they were like, "We know a guy,"
yeah,
and I think the immediate thought is, "Oh, it's going to be Rex." And then we haven't seen him yet, but like they just missed him, and I feel like at some point we're going to get to Rex, and it's going to be an emotional one, because obviously Rex knows what's going on more than everyone else. He knows about the corruption and the chips from Fives in season 6 of the Clone Wars. He was the one who had his chip removed and went through all that stuff in Order 66, which you can see John in the end of season 7, which is probably the best Clone Wars stuff ever.
Clone Wars stuff. You get the Clone Wars right here in the Clone Wars season.
Come and get your Clone Wars. It's me, Dave Filoni. I'm here to make you feel happy and then shatter your dreams, because emotions. Honestly, yes. the Clone Wars is such an emotional show, man. Like,
dang.
I have to whenever I recommend it to people, I have to be like, oh yeah, it's so good, but you are going to cry. Like there's so many tears. It's too much for me. It's too much for everyone to handle. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, which I'm gonna watch more. So
definitely. Well, to be fair, in 3 weeks we actually have an opening slot. We have nothing to talk about that week, so maybe we'll talk about some Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Or there's other stuff that we're going to talk about in a couple of weeks. So
well, that's the week after Army of the Dead, actually.
Yeah, Army of the Dead, which we're all excited for to watch.
Wow, you really sound excited there.
Oh boy, I am so excited. Sorry.
Boy, yeah. So I think it's interesting about Cut Lawquane. Obviously, he's a deserter, so he didn't ever go. He didn't have any Jedi, so he had no one to kind of execute Order 66 to, So yeah. I do have to wonder what, how does he still have a chip? It doesn't seem like he removed it. Did he go through some sort of like initiation thing where like it began to activate, but he kind of pushed through? I think there are loads of kind of like interesting implications. Do you think Cut Lawquane will be back though?
Maybe. I don't know. I just needed to be like unsure but sure at the same time. So
I'd like to see him back. I think that. I mean, here's the thing, right? This is the worst time for the Star Wars galaxy. Palpatine has just taken over. The Empire is rising. Everyone is about, like Luke and Leia are just little babies. They like no one has freedom at this point. The Empire is about to take everything from everyone. So I don't think there can really be many happy endings in this show. I don't. Yeah. I don't think the Bad Batch as characters can. I don't see them surviving. I don't think that Cut and his family will be okay.
I have to agree. Yeah, I have to agree. At the minute, I was like, oh, these people are so good that they're gonna have to die. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also, I think there's an even worse fate. Obviously, we saw that Crosshair has been turned into a servant of the Empire, but in the Star Wars comics set in the original trilogy timeline, there are actually this squad called Star Squad, right? Who are very similar to the Bad Batch. They were modeled off the Bad Batch, but what if they are the Bad Batch, but working for the Empire?
Bruh.
I mean, that is just intense.
That that would be very intense right there. Yeah, that would be to think about.
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah. So
I don't feel there's as much to talk about in this episode. I really appreciated Omega seeing Dirt for the first time.
Yeah.
Like seeing Dirt, experiencing the world, like, playing catch, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else you want to add about this episode?
Yeah, I just think it was just a filler episode, but it was not terrible. I really enjoyed it.
It wasn't as good as the first episode. I wouldn't exactly call it filler. I think there is a lot of good themes in there. Great to see Cutler Quane again, a bit of character development. I just felt like it did feel a little bit more hollow, a little bit less like you're exploring the galaxy.
Empty. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. Like a bit empty. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of small stuff, but I feel like, what I want to see is, the widespread kind of effect on the clones. And it wasn't kind of as prevalent in this one. I feel like being on Kamino last week was, the episode 1, it wasn't exactly last week, but episode 1, it felt like, you see how all the clones are affected, how the Empire works with the Kaminoans, and how the exploitation begins. And seeing it on a small planet is still valid, but it's not, exactly what I'm the most excited to see. Although I love Cutler Quane so much.
You do.
I just love him, John. I'm in love. I'm proud to say it. No, he's a happy married man. I couldn't drag him away from his life like that.
Bruh. So yeah, I give this episode a 7.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, 7.
I think I definitely liked it, just not quite as much the other ones.
I
liked it being half an hour, but I'd like to see 40-minute episodes. I'm being a little bit petty, but like I'd like to see some 40-minute episodes. That'd be great,
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's a lot to. I think that's it really for Bad Batch. But overall, I just really like it. It's just the animation's really good.
Yes. I have to say, I love the music.
The music,
Omega has this kind of leitmotif that keeps on kind of recurring that I really like. And the Bad Batch theme itself is wonderful. I actually, on Spotify Wrapped last year, I had listened to the Bad Batch theme before it hit 50,000 streams. I'm very proud of that, okay?
Whoa.
Thank you.
Is that like 40,999 times?
Yeah. It's all me. I'm just the only one listening to it. Definitely. But yeah, so every week we're going to be talking about the Bad Batch until episode 7, which is the same week that Loki premieres, and then we're going to take a break. We're going to do all of Loki, and then when Bad Batch ends, we're going to do a full season overview.
Yes, and then
so that's our kind of plan.
Yeah, so then we are going to talk about Suicide Squad after that sometime.
Yeah, we'll be talking about Suicide Squad, and then we'll be doing the end of the Bad Batch, I think is how that goes. Let me have a look.
Wow, that is very long.
Let me check the schedule. Yeah, so we're doing Suicide Squad on the 15th of August, and then the next week will be Bad Batch season 1. Yeah, the whole recap, and kind of like talk about where we kind of see it going next, season 2 and all that. I'm very excited to see where the show goes. It started off with a bang, and I hope it kind of keeps a consistent level of quality.
It's a very refreshing show. It's new because it's good to like to have that gap between episode 3 and episode 4. So I really like that.
Definitely. So I just love Star Wars. I just really love Star Wars. I do. It's a good thing. I love most of it.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. That's great to hear. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, right. Let's talk weekly viewing for the week.
Okay, I want to straight off the bat. I didn't really watch anything. Oh, he doesn't.
Oh, yeah, no, me neither.
Oh,
do you have anything to talk about?
No.
Nothing. Okay, I've got Wow, this is going to be a short episode. This might be our shortest episode yet. Don't worry, don't worry. I'm going to save the day. I have one thing to talk about. I can talk about Highlander. So Highlander is a 1980s, I think, sci-fi film that I watched last weekend.
Okay, who's in it?
Sean Connery, actually.
And okay.
And it was actually weird because we recorded the podcast, and obviously me and if you watched last week's episode, we were joined with our friend Joe talking about Invincible, and we talked about Clancy Brown, right, who plays Damien Darkwood in that show. Yeah. And we talked about, Clancy Brown's in everything. He's in the Clone Wars, he's in SpongeBob, he's in loads of stuff, and he's in Highlander. He plays the villain. It's the story of these kind of people, Highlanders, who can't die, live forever, and kind of have to be and have to kind of like find each other and duel each other, cut off each other's heads, so they can be the last one there and achieve their kind of reward for killing all the others, right? And this kind of film is split into two kind of plot lines. There's like the A plot line set in the 1980s, very much kind of like Terminator. About like this female detective, and she's kind of like investigating this guy who for all records is a bit of a kind of like outlier in the system. Obviously he is the Highlander, and she kind of falls in love with him and stuff. The classic 80s stuff, and then there's the Clancy Brown's 80s character, the classic 80s, and then there's the villain kind of going after him, and then you got the I don't know when this is, but it's decades before, it's centuries before. In fact, it's in Scotland during the time of Scottish Revolution, and this is where the guy first figures out that he's a Highlander, and he's trained by Sean Connery, actually. Not the actor Sean Connery, the character that he plays. Although it could just be the actor Sean Connery. Maybe he lives forever until he's dead now. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
The thing is, the Scottish stuff in the past was so good. It was like Rocky and the Karate Kid meets like Braveheart and Lord of the Rings. It was so cool. It had like the Queen did the soundtrack. So like it's a kind of magic.
Did the soundtrack?
Yeah, it's a kind of magic that was made for this film. Like it's just so mad. Like they properly like did some great stuff. And there's a really, really good scene, like this kind of little montage about like living forever, set to the song Live Forever. I think that's what it's called, for the Queen one, not the Oasis one. It was absolutely brilliant. And then like the other side was just really boring, unfortunately. And it had like some cool ideas and concepts, but I feel like they really, really, they had the cinematography, they had the great moments, but in the Scottish stuff, but in the present day stuff, or the 1980s stuff, it just wasn't as compelling in my opinion. But yeah, I thought it was fine. Yeah, I don't think I'd recommend it. I wouldn't call it a classic like some people would. Also, the main actor, I can't remember his name, but he cannot act to save his life. I don't know why they chose him, but yeah, they definitely did. So yeah, Highlander, a beautiful mess, I would call it. So yes, it's you haven't watched anything.
Nothing.
Not read anything.
Well, I started watching Only God Forgives, starring.
Oh yes, you were talking about this last week.
Yeah,
but you haven't finished it yet.
I haven't finished it because due to lots of revision, lots of watching Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
And so, yeah, but the opening minutes, oof, the cinematography is just.
Well, you know what? I'm sure our listeners will appreciate it. A lovely, short, brisk episode for you this week. And next week, we're going to be talking about, best live action comic book costumes, kind of building off Captain America's reveal a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, I guess that's it for this week.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you everyone for watching. As always, if you enjoyed, you want to see more, subscribe, watch our previous videos. We've got loads of stuff. Last week we talked about Invincible with our friend Joe from Heg Dog Films. We've got loads of stuff covering Falcon Winter Soldier, other Star Wars content. We've talked about the Mandalorian and the original Clone Wars, the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. So if you enjoyed this kind of stuff, you might want to watch some of that. you leave a like if you enjoyed, of course. And if you want to get in contact with us, we read out emails once in a blue moon whenever we get an email. So please, email us if you've got any questions or anything at outoftimefilmpod@gmail.com, or get in touch or just follow us on Twitter or Instagram, where we're at Out of Time Film Podcast. Out of Time Film Pod.
Are you okay, mate?
Links in the description. There's so much information to get out. I've actually been posting a lot on Twitter at the moment, so trying to kind of grow our footprint. So yeah, you'll get a lot of opinions from me. I'm the one posting on Twitter. It's not John. So if I say anything that annoys you, blame me. It's me. It's all me.
It's he's in power.
I have the power. Or you can follow us individually on Twitter. I am Tom the Boardman on Twitter.
I am Comedy John 42 on Twitter. I am useless. So if you want to follow,
yeah, useless. It has been a while though, hasn't it? When was this time you went on Twitter?
March.
Many moons ago. March. Wow, impressive.
Yeah, because I just don't want to. I just don't want to be in Twitter really, because it's not a good place to go.
It can get pretty hostile sometimes. Because I remember we both deleted it before Justice League, and I still only check it once a day on my computer. It is weird because I used to check it all the time, but no, not anymore.
Yeah, I was a bit addictive to Twitter. I was like, but now I'm not. So
well, you're still addicted to Instagram, so I wouldn't worry about that one.
Instagram's a bit more live.
It is. Instagram, you can definitely filter out stuff. But yeah. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Next week will be best live action comic book costumes. Anything else to
add? No. Please be safe.
Be safe as always.
Do it. Social distance if you're seeing someone outside.
Well,
in the back garden. Yeah.
Soon we'll be able to go into each other's houses, which means maybe we'll be able to film the podcast or record the podcast in person.
In better quality.
In the best quality.
Yeah, better quality. So yeah, thank you for listening in, tuning in, whatever. If you want to hear some stuff about some news or So thank you for tuning in.
Definitely. So without further ado, take what you're given.
Get something back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.